Hello, everyone. Welcome to the class tonight. I'm Dr. Asatar Bear, my co-teacher here, Leah Schaefer.
Welcome, everyone.
So each week, of course, we teach meditation. We like to choose a theme, and this week we're going to talk about your practice of meditation, bringing that into your life, the consistency, the routine of that, the ritual of that, and and the love of that, the enjoyment of that, the purpose of that. um, and we want to keep you guys going, inspire you. It's a journey, and we we're on this together. uh,
Yeah.
so we wanted to just talk about that tonight, and also we have a couple of announcements. We're going to take a couple of weeks off, and we'll come back on the 18th, and we're going to restructure the course a little bit. I'm excited about it. We've been talking about it a little bit. um,
Mhm.
we're going to move towards a slightly different format for the course, and so I'm excited to see what it's going to be like. And of course, as always, if you'd like to support the class, please go to the Patreon link. It's in the description. We really appreciate everyone who supports us. It means a lot to
Yeah,
us.
thank you.
So thank you for that. And
Mhm.
we wanted to just talk about meditation, making it part of your life, and what that looks like. Um, and our friend Shaka is here, saying hello,
Hello,
checking in.
Shakar.
Good to see you. Um, so what do you think of, Leah, when we deal with this topic, and maybe it's kind of intimidating, right? Like, how do you practice meditation, and how do you maintain your practice?
Mhm.
What
Yeah.
are the things that people need to know about that?
Yeah. I mean, this is like one of the most common questions is like, how long should I meditate for? How often should I meditate
Right.
for? Right? It's like super common. And the perfect answer is that you the perfect answer that every master will give you is to meditate every day, twice a day if you can, and to
At the same time,
at the same time, at the same
right?
place for at least 20 minutes, right? This is the guidance. This is the consensus.
Or
And
an
I can,
hour or more, right? I
yeah,
mean,
I said at
you get
least,
pretty
yeah,
stringent.
at
Yeah.
least 20 minutes, right? And so this is the consensus, this is what people will tell you. And it's correct, I mean, like the more consistent we are with our practice, the better it is for us on all levels. Um, and and that doesn't work for everybody, for many, many reasons. One, they don't have the proper tools to be able to be that long on their own in meditation. That's like a big factor right away. Two, like they're so have so much anxiety stuck so much in our heads
Mhm.
that we cannot sit for that long a period of time. Three, like if you have trauma brain or super hyper like creative brain, the idea of doing something consistently every single day at the same time basically can choke you out as far as feeling like you are frozen with anxiety
Yeah,
around the pressure you feel of the pending failure that's about to happen. Um,
yeah,
and so,
that's
um,
so
and
true.
so, yeah, and so there's a
I
lot
want to
to
say
it.
something about that
And
before you go on too, which is that
yeah, yeah.
there's a lot of routine aspects in our lives already, like
Mhm.
work or school or whatever it is, right? Like, you're commuting, or there's a lot of routine aspects, but a lot of times these
Yep,
routine aspects are connected to things that we feel like are like spirit deadening, you know? And
right.
so then I think we sort of, on some level, we associate like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, now I'm gonna be like linear schedule." It's like, "Oh, that's where I go to
Mm,
kill my spirit," and
I am crushed even further. Yeah,
yeah,
totally,
yeah,
totally.
and
I
you're
didn't
gonna
ever think
craft the
about
whip
that.
internally, right? Like, just like
Mhm.
that happens, you get disciplined through all these outer structures, and, it's like, how much of that can our spirits take, you know? So,
Yeah, yeah.
I think just to acknowledge that that's like a factor, that.
Yeah, it's
And
a
especially for
thing.
creative people, right? Because creativity is an aspect of the spirit. It's an aspect of the heart. So, when you
Mhm.
have that coming through very strongly, then it's like you want to avoid that deadening, right? You don't want that to be associated with
Totally, totally. And so as thank you for saying that. And so as somebody that um knows, like I know that the more consistent I am with my practice, the better. Like I know that from experience, right? Um as somebody that has that knowing both through experience and through like hearing it enough times from enough people, right? Um I everybody says it. And
right.
so like as somebody in that boat, it's important that I discovered that it really what it comes down to though is a relationship to our practice.
Yeah.
And so sometimes that relationship to your practice is about routine. You thrive in routine, right?
Hmm.
And sometimes that relationship to your practice, it needs to come from a more emotional place of ritual.
Right.
The practice is the practice either way, but it's kind of like the aspect of which you thrive in. And it is very
Okay,
much
wait,
a
before you go on,
relationship
can
between
you
you and
just
them.
say what is the difference between routine and ritual?
Yeah, so I mean, I haven't looked it up or anything, but the way that I think of it is routine is um routine is every day I brush my teeth, right? Like that's something pretty much
Right.
everybody that I know does, right? Every day I brush my teeth morning and night. It's my routine before right after I wake up or right
Right.
before I go to bed. There's not a lot of thought into it, but it is very consistent. It is a routine, right? But it's like,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of good reasons for that routine, but it's very much like a staple normalcy, consistent normalcy routine. Ritual is like the way that I think of ritual is that there's magic to it. Like I really do. Like when I think about ritual, I think about there's
Mm.
like there's this aspect of I'm not just gonna do the thing, like, brushing my teeth. I'm not just gonna like do it mindlessly. I'm going
Right.
to be and you could like so you could make brushing your teeth into a ritual if you wanted to, right? Like it's not that you can't.
It's not about the
But
activity.
but right, right, exactly. It's not about the activity. But with when I think about ritual, I think about like I am there, mind, body, heart, and spirit. I'm present with what I'm doing. I'm invested with what I'm doing. It could be as simple as lighting a candle. And I'm not just lighting that candle mindlessly. I'm like very much I have intention behind what I'm doing
Mhm.
and I'm very present for what I'm doing, and I'm thinking that for that moment, it's a feeling of attunement, like I'm attuning to something. I'm not just doing something, I'm attuning with something. So that's how I think
Right,
about
right, right.
ritual.
Interesting, yeah. Our friend
Mhm.
Akbar Caduce is weighing in here. I am routinely non-ritual. Okay.
Yeah, that's
I don't
awesome.
I don't know if
So
Akbar is, of course, a bit of a trickster, so I don't know if he's interfacing with what we're saying or something else, but, you know, I think that's a really good point, though, about, like, do you put intent into it? Do you really, stay in that moment, versus think about something else, right? I mean, like, and I think meditation, I think we have the understanding that, this is a time to, be present and to, to be in the practice rather than, you know, plan your day or something else, right? And
mhm.
I think this is the point of doing a practice, like what we teach, right? Heart rhythm meditation that has such a structure in terms of the breath and the rhythm of the breath and so on that it gives you that or hopefully gives you that ritual structure.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I feel like our practice of heart rhythm meditation lends itself a lot to ritual, like within the simplicity of it. For sure, for sure. And even if you are simply doing your meditation as your routine, like listen, like all I can do is commit myself to 5 minutes every day at 8 a.m. or whatever it might be for you, right? Um,
Right.
that's still practice. I just want to say that, like that's still
Yeah.
you're still practicing. But I just think of it like it's a different feeling. And the main thing is like what motivates you to keep going? Because the thing is like even though I'm not a daily consistent meditator, that does not mean that I am not back at my practice again and again and again and again. It doesn't mean I don't have a consistency to me. It's just that my consistency looks so different than Asata's. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a good point. I think, there's a lot to be said for sticking with it, for determination, for not giving up, even if what you do doesn't seem to fit the mold,
Mhm.
or maybe you fall off, and then you get back on. And, I mean, there's tremendous value in that. And, we wanted to just say one of the issues, and is sometimes it feels like, well, not a whole lot is happening,
Mm,
um, and everyone goes through that. That is
mhm.
that's what you will go through,
Yeah,
when you do practice of anything. um,
your relationship with your practice will evolve over time.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes there will be extraordinary experiences too. I mean, I wanna I wanna just say it's not all like digging through the mud. I mean, there
Yeah.
are meditation, can offer experiences of incredible power and joy and majesty and grace and
Yeah.
euphoria, right? So there
It's
are,
just a
but that's not why we practice, right? We practice
but
for
it
to know who we are and to know who we really are, you know?
Yeah, I mean, but I do feel like those big experiences are a big motivator. But
Yeah,
if you haven't had one of those experiences yet, it could be a motivator to be like, I want one, right?
right.
Um,
Right. And maybe
but
you
yeah,
tune in
there,
and listen to us talk and are like, "Wow, okay, I want what they seem to be talking about,"
right,
right? Like,
right,
that's a perfectly good
and
reason.
yeah, and so it comes back to like what motivates you, right? So with your practice, and you want to come back to what motivates you, and that what motivates you might be different over time, right? So like
Yeah,
maybe what motivates you right now is like, I want to experience enlightenment. I want to experience unity consciousness within my meditation practice. I want to go into a state of alpha. I want to go into a state of theta in my brain, right? Like
yeah,
I want to experience it. And so I practice, right? So, but it could also be like, I just want to be more myself. I don't want to be completely crippled with anxiety or completely crippled with depression. I want to be more my true self, right?
yeah,
It could also be like I have such a massive amount of stress that I just need a pressure release, or there's many things, but meditation can really be helpful to such a wide array of things that you want to know clear in yourself. Why are you practicing? What is it that makes you want to keep going? And it can also be that like I want to have a full enough heart that I can then give to my vocation or give to my family or give to my such and such. Like, I want to have enough energy in my heart to be able to do the things that I'm doing in my daily life. So
yeah,
it comes back to like, what is it that you actually want from your practice? That will help you keep coming back to it.
yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a lot to be said for creating structure, and some people respond to that, like you said. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I do the same thing at the same time. Um, that has definitely worked well for me. I mean, I have spent many years, and just having a longing to experience these things, and saying like, when am I going to get enough time to really explore this practice consistently? And the answer is early morning, and so I have done that practice for many years. And then sometimes there's times in my life where it's been so stressful that my sleep gets disrupted, and then the early morning thing becomes impossible,
Yeah.
and then I settle into, I mean, this is like kind of where I am now, actually. I settle into more of like a late morning routine. But for me, it doesn't feel like so averse. It doesn't probably because my schedule, just being a professor and whatever, has a lot of flexibility. So for me, it creates a kind of anchor in the day, um,
Yeah.
and that that helps me a lot. And if I miss it, then because sometimes I do, right? Things happen. Um, then I kind of notice that, right? And make an effort to do it later, and then it's but it's like this thing about what makes you return,
Yeah.
um, what gives you that feeling, and hopefully it's out of love, right? And out of a desire to do this, not out of a kind of beating oneself up thing, which is, I'm going to be honest, a lot of times that's how I've motivated myself, and that's
Yeah.
something I'm currently working on, to shift from that kind of place of,
Mhm.
wielding the lash on oneself. So I
Yeah.
don't know if people can relate to that, but that's it's something I'm working on currently.
Yeah, and like you're saying, like that sometimes it can be like you seem to feel like that was helpful at one point, but now it's just being more of a detriment to the
Yeah,
integrity of why you do what you do. Yeah.
yeah. Because things
Mhm.
change. I mean, that's the thing. We all go through these changes, and the way that you are, and especially like when you practice for something for a long time, right? That the way that
Yeah.
you practiced it, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, is not the way that you're going to practice it today. Let's say, that's just the reality.
Yeah, and it's an important question, like what actually keeps you going back, right? And maybe at one point like that, like being hard on ourselves has to do with like this, like I'm gonna thrive, I can do it, push myself, motivated. But
Right?
at other times it can be completely detrimental to the point where you don't even want to practice because we're being too hard on ourselves about our expectations of ourselves have like been not in check with like our needs, right? Um, yeah,
Yeah.
so I think everybody's hearing us say though like that it fluctuates. It's a living thing. Like our practice is a living thing that we participate in.
Yeah.
And so there's no perfect answer, there's no perfect thing. You have to discover it. You have to try and try again and do different things until you discover what it is. And for myself, there's like a lot of this, like the ritual part of it helps me a lot. Like it helps me come back easier
Mm,
again and again.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Mhm.
it's just amazing to me how much things can change, even within the context of it. Like, you know, it's certainly the case that when you set aside a good chunk of time and you go on a retreat or you take the day and you do a lot of meditation, you
Yeah.
know, that's a whole different level, that's a
Mhm.
whole different things might happen there. Um, but there's something that's very precious about here you are in the midst of, the struggles of life. And,
Yeah.
maybe you don't have all of this time. Maybe it's just a short period of time, but sometimes that magical experience happens anyway. And
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and sometimes you think, okay, well, not much happened during that, but then
Mhm.
later you might feel it like, okay, that I feel held through this difficulty. Um, so I don't know.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we should probably practice.
Let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. So I think I'm gonna go first today, right?
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's take a good upright meditation posture, and I'm sitting on a chair here. And I'm just sitting back into the chair so that I have a little bit of support, not on my back, but it's kind of on the upper part of my butt. Um, and in this chair, that's giving me support to keep my back upright yet relaxed. And then you close your eyes and you just tune into your breath. And you just take a moment to be clear about what you intend for this practice. And we begin with breathing deeply in the belly. So allowing the belly to expand, to get big, to blow up like a balloon as you inhale, and then to contract, get smaller. Bring your belly button toward your spine as you exhale. So we're looking here for a really relaxing, deep breath here, and just focusing on allowing the belly to open, to expand on the inhalation, and then to contract on the exhalation, and feel that movement in your belly. We would also like to work on making the breath slow. So we can do this by extending the exhalation, squeezing the abdominal muscles, breathing out more, controlling the inhalation, breathing in more, so that your breath is slower. And as you slow down your rhythm, you might find that it changes the character of your thoughts. You might find that it changes the way that you inhabit your body. You might find that it changes the way you feel in your heart. You might find that it allows your spirit to unfold in a way that is different. We would also like to make the breath rhythmic and heart centered. We would like to breathe in for the same number of heartbeats as we breathe out. And this is a very challenging part of this practice because not everyone can feel their heartbeat. And you just look for it, and maybe you feel part of the beat. Maybe you feel it some of the time. Maybe you're lucky enough to feel it all the time. How wonderful that is. Or maybe your heart is playing hide and seek with you. You know it's there, you know your heart is beating, but maybe you don't quite feel it. And just to make it simple, you could just imagine a rhythm for your heartbeat. And if you feel it, so much the better. But look for it. Don't stop looking for it. Don't stop paying attention to the beating of your heart. And if you feel called to do this practice, I would like you to get to the place where you can breathe in for 8 beats and breathe out for 8 beats. And now tune into the energy of your breath. Feel that your heart is breathing. Breath is energy. Breath is love. Breath is light. Breath is life. So as you breathe in, feel that it is your heart that takes in that love, that light. That your heart just drinks in that revitalizing spirit of the breath. That your heart becomes full of love and light. And as you exhale, feel that light radiating from you like a lamp. Your heart just sending out light in all directions. And then you work progressively on making the breath more and more full. So really squeeze your abdominal muscles as you exhale. Bring your belly button toward your spine. See if you can go further, further still. Trust me, there's a lot further you can go in exhaling. And if you exhale a big breath, but keeping it smooth, keeping it silent, keeping it controlled, then what will happen is your inhale wants to rush in. Keep that control, keep the inhale from rushing in so that your breath remains smooth. You're disciplining your breath, controlling your breath, building self mastery. But you're building that through an experience of love and light. You're slowing down your inhalation, smoothing out your inhalation so that you have time. Time to draw in the breath and really experience it in all of its fullness. And this way of breathing that I am suggesting should feel very, very different from your ordinary breath. Well, it should feel much deeper, much slower, much fuller, much more concentrated. It should feel like you're really doing something very different with your breath, to the point where it gives you feedback just on its own. Because it happens that one's mind wanders. That happens. And here you have an easy way to see if that's happened, because since I'm asking you to breathe in such a different way, if your mind wanders, your breath will revert to something closer to its normal unconscious pattern. So if that happens, you just go back to the steps. We want to make our breath deep. We want to make our breath slow. We want to make the breath rhythmic, heart-centered, and full. 8 beats in, 8 beats out. Even if you're not feeling your heartbeat, that still gives you a sense. It still gives you a rhythm. You know that a count of 8 doesn't happen quickly. It's a slower thing. And as the rhythm of your breath becomes slower, becomes fuller, becomes smoother, The power of your breath grows and grows. The stream of energy that you take into your heart with each inhalation grows in power as well, as does the stream of breath on your exhalation that represents what you express, what you give, your voice, your gift to the world. That drives you forward, that allows you to achieve. And the breath becomes this slow, this intentional. It's a bit like each breath is a practice in itself. For me, this practice has been so powerful. I sometimes feel like I'm living a lifetime in each breath. For me, as the breath lengthens and slows, it forms a chain that stretches from eternity to me. And then I begin to feel that it is the same, that it is one, that it is all within me. I think for many of us, meditation becomes very aspirational because it is the metaphor, the practice of the spiritual path, and how high our ideals are around the spiritual path, and what can we become. And sometimes that ideal gives us a lot of judgment, a lot of self-judgment, because we become so keenly aware of how far we fall short of that ideal. And sometimes we stop practicing because we cannot bear it. We cannot bear to hold that ideal and to feel so far short of it. We might feel like a failure. So let me remind you that there is no failure here. Experiencing the breath in its fullness, energizing your heart with your breath, drinking deeply of the essence of life, opening yourself to know who you are, to go deeper and know who you really are, to explore side of you that is infinite, that is perfect, that is unlimited. that is eternal, that can never be a failure. In fact, when you dive into the limitless ocean of your being, the very concept loses its meaning. Failure means a confrontation with the limited. And when you are in this place, you are unlimited. Limits have no meaning, they do not exist. Our privilege as human beings is to contain the unlimited, to walk through life in our limited selves, to experience life, the perfection within the limited. All of life is pervaded through the spirit, and spirit is infinite. Spirit is pure. Spirit is perfect. And so much of our suffering, our turmoil, comes from the sense that things could be different, things could be better. We're painfully aware of our limitations, our mistakes, our shortcomings. Why do these things trouble us? Because we have a sense that there's another side to ourselves. But this can drive us forward. This can give us direction. It can give us purpose. And in any case, we cannot know ourselves, not really. By only knowing our limited side, we must discover, uncover, and experience that side of us which is endless, that has always been and will always be. Bring this infinite energy into your heart. Your heart is the container of your spirit. Allow this energy to move through your body, to move through your emotions, and to carry you through life. Amen. So when you're ready, you can come out of the meditation and open your eyes and turn your consciousness to the here and now.
That was amazing.
Mm.
You took us, Oscar, you took us beyond the ideas of right doing and wrong doing in that meditation.
Right.
You
Very
did.
true.
Rumi is often quoted for talking about that field, and also Tarbert just took us right there tonight.
Meet you there, says Romeo.
Whee! So great. Double great, as some say.
No, I had the sense that I should be talking about practice or something, but I didn't really do that.
Well, you brought us to the reason we might be motivated to practice.
Well, practice.
Brought us right to what you were talking about, being and becoming yourself through your practice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, our friend Andrew is here checking in.
Hey,
I hit the nail on the head. All right. Well, thank you for being with us.
great. We like when that happens.
It's
Thanks for being here.
a nice feeling.
Oh, oh my
Well,
goodness.
I, I guess you're going to take us the rest of the way,
Okay, we'll see what we can do.
huh? Sounds good.
So, it's nice if you have a meditation chair that you like. You see, I have a very fancy chair. See, very fancy. This is actually ritualistically only for Tuesday nights or Tuesday night meditations.
Very special.
I otherwise don't really use this chair. But I have upstairs in my room my own meditation chair there. And that's a really important part of like having the space for your rituals or your routines or your practices, like creating the space for them.
Right.
So
Right.
I didn't prepare you that I would say that tonight, but maybe, thinking about that for a moment for yourself and preparing that for next time.
Mm,
Or go ahead and find your special chair or your special cushion or that special part of your house that you dedicate to your practice. And it calls you back to it again and again. It helps you to remember. Even some of the decor might help you to remember what it is that you want to do, that you aim to do. And Asatar, I routinely forget to say, go ahead and mute your mic, my friend, just in case. Mm. Begin to deepen your breath. And continue to deepen your breath and then find your heart. I hope that that word, heart, that it's been taking on new meanings for you, that you have started to develop a relationship to your heart where your heart starts to really show itself to you now. The layers and levels of your heart become revealed through your patience, through your consistency, and through your care, simply paying attention to your heart gives it more energy and lets your heart know that you care. See if you can communicate that with your heart using your breath. Communicate with your heart that you care about your heart. Let your heart drink that in because I'm sure it will. I'm sure that each of our hearts long, deeply long to be cared for, to matter on some level. And I'm really not a big fan of self effacement, only whenever it's called for do I like it. I feel like there's just so much self effacement and aspects of asking us to be small, to be subordinate. I'm just so sick of it, honestly. When's the last time you cared about your heart? We want other people to care. We want people to recognize us, to understand us, to see us. We want to earn the gold medal. We want to do the thing. All for what? So that somebody sees us, understands us, cares about us, that we become some level of important, that there's some sort of meaning to this existence. That it really matters that you care. That's actually the thing that matters the most. That you care. Do you care? Can you? Can you try? Can you try to send your heart some love? You send the love with your breath. You send the love with your focus and your attention. What are you paying attention to? Paying attention to our hearts in this moment. And just let your heart drink it up. Let your heart soak it in as you give it love, as you give your heart attention. As you're present with your heart. And now look into your heart because I want you to be honest with yourself. And that's easier deeper down than it is on the surface. So go deep down and be honest with yourself. What is your growing edge right now? What part of you is developing? It might not be developed yet, but what part of you is currently developing? Where are your elbows rubbing up against the walls of our own narrowness? Where are you creating more space in yourself? What is your growing edge right now? See if you can hear your heart tell you that or feel it. When we're growing, it is not consistent. We are not hitting some kind of mundane flat zone when we're growing. When we're growing, we go in and out of that consciousness. We go in and out of being able to do it and then not do it again, having doubt, fear, and then having confidence. We go in and out of those spaces because we're hitting a growing edge. Now, knowing that the road is going to be bumpy, why do you want to do what you're doing right now within yourself? Like, if I thought of my personality as a part of my artwork, my character as my main artwork for my main existence in this life, there's parts of me that are not colored in yet. There's parts of me that are completely unformed. There's parts of me that have potential that I have not brought into form yet. Mm, and that's okay, and that's beautiful, and that's how it's supposed to be, you know? But why do I want to? Like, why do I want to go out of my comfort zone? Or why do I want to do the things I know I need to do in order to get to the place I want to be going, or to become that which I know is within me? Why? Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to grow? Hmm? Feel it in your heart. Breathe with the depths of your heart as you feel that. What motivates you? Hmm? Your heart knows that. Your heart knows the answer to that. Why do you want to go through this next growing edge? Why do you want to bother? Ups and downs, variabilities, right? Like, why bother? Hmm? What is it? What is it within you that wants to go forward? Why is it important? How can you love yourself enough to go through this up and down time to grow more? How can you have enough love move through you that you are allowing yourself to go through failures and success and back and forth again and again, to be in our vulnerability, to be in our power, and fluctuate between the two of those endlessly? What would allow you to love yourself enough to go through that? Mhm. Is it because you're an important instrument? One instrument? And man, when, or woman, when you are attuned, when you are tuned up, my goodness, can the music play? Don't you want the music to play through you? Don't you want to be attuned, tuned up, that the music can play through you? It can be a sad song or it can be a celebration song, yeah? There's no limit to the way the music will play through. But don't you want to experience that? I know I do. So, your meditation practices, breathing in rhythm with your heartbeat, discovering the dimensions of your heart, energizing your heart, invoking specific energies on your heartbeat, calling it in with each heartbeat. These practices, these practices are what are going to allow you to heal the parts of you that need to heal. And they're going to give you the energy that you need to keep going. These practices are going to be the saving grace for our ability to continue on the extraordinarily difficult path of enlightenment and of full self realization. This is no joke, this path, I tell you. It will take everything, but it will give you more somehow. The only thing you really need is in your heart of hearts to become very clear about why do you love yourself enough to keep growing? Or what in life do you love enough? Do you love enough to keep growing for? I love helping people. And so I will sit with them in a room and I will face extreme demons with them. And then I will come home and I will light a candle to absorb any darkness that I have gathered in the day. I'll have my ritual so that I can maintain myself, so that I can continually help others. This is for me, that's my thing. And I have to love myself enough when I am not in my power, or when I am struggling, or when I mess up. I have to love myself enough to keep going, to keep showing up as a teacher or as a healer, even when I feel small, even when I really fucked up. Because I care, and because I have certain gifts that I want to share with others. And the only way for me to do that is to attune myself as much as I can and to have the spiritual help that I need through the practices. So, why, my friend, are you practicing? Breathe with that for just a moment. And then maybe feel how every single heartbeat is encouraging you to keep going. Thank you. You have to unmute yourself.
Thank you for that meditation. Yeah, that was nice.
Thank you.
I love how you shared different aspects of what you do, could really get a sense of that. And, you know, sometimes a little thing like lighting a candle, it's like it triggers that sense of ritual, that intentionality.
Mm-hmm.
It's,
Mm-hmm.
what makes us feel the presence of the sacred and the, the opening, the willingness to do that. So,
Yeah, the presence of the sacred, exactly. It's like just trying to set ourselves up for that, set ourselves up to be able to feel the presence of the sacred.
yeah. Well, wonderful end to the evening, and thank you all for joining us tonight. And
Mm.
We'll
We
be
pre
in on the 18th, so we're going to take 2 weeks off, and we're going to, you know, go inside and do some things to the course, and go through our journey, of course. And we'll look forward to seeing you all at that time, the 18th.
Mhm.
So more
Thank you
info.
so much.
Thank you all. Good night.
Good night.